The battlefield was a wasteland of glass and flame, the remains of a ruined moon skirmish between the human coalition and the Valari Dominion. At the center of the smoldering wreckage stood a man, unarmored, bloodied, but calm, in his hands. He held a long, silver-black blade that shimmered unnaturally in the faint light of distant stars. This was the sword of Zevalith, the soul-bound weapon of Queen Asura of the Valari, and the man holding it was human. "I believe this belongs to you," Kale said, offering the blade. The guards around Queen Asura stiffened. Even across the throne chamber of her obsidian flagship, her aura flared, radiating fury and disbelief. "You return it?" she said, her voice dangerously low. Kale nodded. "It was never mine to keep." "You dare," Asura hissed, descending the throne steps. Her violet eyes blazed. "Do you know what you've done?" "I'm giving it back." "You bonded to it," she snapped. "It accepted you. A human. That sword chooses its bearer. It never returns to me unless the wielder is dead or willingly releases it," Kale said, his voice calm. "Which I'm doing." Silence stretched. Asura stopped just short of him, staring at the sword like it was a betrayal made steel. She was radiant in her wrath, tall, graceful, wrapped in violet silk and obsidian armor, her silver crown crackling with power. Her court watched nervously, unsure whether to strike or bow. Kale placed the sword on the stone dais between them and stepped back. "I never wanted it," he said. "I only used it to protect your people when no one else could." "You wielded the sword in battle," she growled. "You saved my sister's life with it. You burned down an Archon hive to defend a Valari outpost. You bound yourself to our relic, and it chose you." "I know," Kale said, "and I still choose to walk away." Asura clenched her fists. "Why? Why would you reject power like that?" Kale looked her in the eye. "Because it's yours. And I'm not Valari. I don't belong in your legacy." She stared at him, breath shaking. "That blade has not accepted another wielder in 5 centuries. I didn't know what it was when I grabbed it," he said. "Just that it could stop the monster attacking your palace. I picked it up to save lives, not for glory. You should have died from touching it. That's what happens to unworthy hands." "Then maybe your sword is broken," he said gently. A hush fell over the room. Then she laughed, not kindly, but bitter and sharp. "You mock me, a human mocking a queen of starfire and blood." "I'm not mocking," Kale said, "but your sword chose me in a moment of desperation. That doesn't mean I deserve to rule by it." Asura's voice softened, but it became colder. "You misunderstand. The sword does not grant rule. It grants bond. Do you know what it means when it chooses someone outside our people?" Kale hesitated. "No." She stepped closer, and her eyes glimmered, not just with rage now, but something else. Longing, conflict, pain. "It means the sword sees a future with you in it. With me. You are not just its wielder. You would become my consort, my equal, by ancient law." Kale's eyes widened. "Wait, the sword chose me for you?" She nodded once. "And by returning it, you have rejected me." Kale didn't speak for a moment. He looked down at the blade. It lay there, motionless now, quiet as a relic. He remembered the way it had felt in his hands, like lightning held steady, like a voice whispering direction. It had fit into his grip, as if molded for him. But it wasn't his. "I didn't know," he finally said. "No one told me." Asura's voice cracked, barely audible. "And now you do. Will you still walk away?" He looked at her, and for a second he didn't see a queen. He saw a woman who'd carried the weight of an empire alone, a leader raised by tradition and burdened with ancient rituals. A woman who had, for once, hoped for something not arranged or commanded. "I'm not a royal," Kale said. I'm a soldier. I don't know court life. I don't know how to kneel in the right ways or say the right titles. I don't care for any of that, Asura snapped. The sword doesn't either. Then what does it care for? Heart, courage, purpose. That's all. He looked at the sword again, and then back at her. I came here to return it, he said quietly. But not because I don't respect you. I just didn't think I was worthy. Asura stepped past the blade and came to stand in front of him, eye to eye. I don't need a perfect prince, she said. I need someone who carries their fire without needing to be told how. Kale exhaled slowly. Then what now? Pick it up, she said, but not for battle, not for duty. For what, then? For me. The chamber held its breath. Kale looked at her one more time, then reached down. The moment his fingers touched the hilt, the sword pulsed once, like a heartbeat. Asura inhaled sharply. The court flinched. Silver light raced along the runes, and for a moment, Kale felt not just power, but connection, like a memory shared, a thread woven through space and time. He rose with the sword in hand. And this time, he didn't offer it to her. He held it at his side. I'll stand beside you, he said, if you still want me. Asura stepped forward, reached up, and touched the side of his face. You never had to be perfect. You only had to choose. Their foreheads touched, and the sword, ancient and silent for centuries, burned with radiant warmth, not from war but unity. Later, as the stars spun outside the flagship's glass dome, Kale stood beside Asura as her equal, not because of a throne, not because of tradition, but because the sword had seen something they had not. And in the end, it was right.